Yo, 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 yo. Y'all know the vibe. With the tribe. We out here live and direct, man. Hey, listen, hold up. It's a special one tonight. It's a very special one tonight. We got a very special show for y'all tonight, man. Like, this is something that I've been looking forward to. I actually manifested this. I told my brother, I said, there's two brothers that I want to get on our platform before we end this shit. Like, I'm not even gonna say end this, but I said there's two brothers that I want to get on our platform personally. You know, I wasn't expecting it to come this soon, but it did, you know? So without no further, I want to introduce our brother, Rod Hayes, Chief Pontiac is in the motherfucking building. You hear, man? Yeah. Hold up, man. Don't start tripping out when we got good vibes going now. Bro, this internet, dude. All right. Welcome to the powwow, man.
Peace to the guys. What's going on?
Peace
For
and
sure,
love,
for
my
sure.
brother.
What's going on with you? How's it going?
Oh man, listen, I was super over excited, right? I looked at the message wrong, right? I thought that you were saying that you were able to do it today, and you said you will let me know today, and I was promoting it heavily, me and my brother, and then I looked at the message, I'm like, hold up, bro, he didn't say he could do it today, he said he'll let me know today. So we went back and started deleting everything. You feel me? Like, bro, had so many people tapping in and all that, bro. But I appreciate you. I really appreciate you, bro, because I was looking forward to this. Seriously, man. Welcome to the powwow.
Well, glad for y'all to have me, man. Appreciate to see the young brothers out here doing this shit, putting the families back together and shit. waking up the clans.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like one chief ain't got to do all of the heavy lifting. He got all us out here doing what we know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get this work done.
Mm-hmm. It's been a lot going on, brother. Like me and my brothers did when we had personal conversations outside of social media, and I'll be trying to figure things out. Like, it's a lot of brothers that come presenting themselves as, one of us, but yet the messages that they're pushing out here ain't it. You know, Me personally, I feel like there's only one thing that we all should be focused on right now, and that's getting back what belongs to us. That's all, and that's it. I feel like anything outside of that shouldn't be a topic at all. But yet, when I pull up to these lives of these brothers who say that they're chiefs or whatever the case may be, nobody's speaking on that. Nobody's speaking on how we're going to go about doing that. And that's not saying that the work isn't being done outside of social media. Because I know there's
Mhm.
people out here that's putting in the work outside of this. But I'm saying, like, what they're pushing ain't it. It's definitely not it.
For sure.
I could tell you this. A lot of people might see me on social media and think that I just popped up out of nowhere. I did a whole lot of years of preparation because I had a whole lot of chiefs requesting me to perform a function that required me to do a social media campaign.
Mm-hmm.
My chief, Larry Hoover, said, don't fuck them streets, hit them books, right? I got the same message from Angel Bay, from the Peace Stones, from the Vice Lords. They all gave me the same message. We need one of us to hit the books and find out where the deception at. Put it all together. If one of us make it, we all make it. We only got to get one of us to figure out the grand deception, how it worked, the mechanics of it. And the conceptual physics. You seen that movie Jason Bourne?
Mm-hmm.
That was my bunkie. He was one of them. So when I was explaining the straw man and the mechanics of the redemption process to him, he gave me a conceptual physics book. He said, you're going to need this. This going to come in handy for where you going. He's a little German guy. And the conceptual physics was the layout. All of the biblical stories that they imprisoned our minds with was a conceptual physics formula written on a star map. The star map was to tell the story of the conceptual physics formula that was concealed in a fairy tale. The spiritual lenses required to see it requires a lot of diligence and practice, a lot of investigation and research, right? So the ones who probably see the problem, but they don't see the solution. So they only addressing the part that they can see, the problem. If you look back, most of our so-called leaders and misleaders, they all focused on what the problem is. Then very few of them is saying, wait a minute, how we get in the condition we in if this is the problem? Because the problem shouldn't be that big to change our conditions from following our culture. The culture's still here. So I grow up, they telling us that they stole our land. I look out the window, shit, that shit still look like it's here to me. Where they hide it at?
Facts.
Right? In order for them to steal it, they had to be able to conceal it. You can't conceal all this shit. So where do they hide it in plain sight? David Copperfield made an elephant disappear. But did he really make the elephant disappear? That's what they did to us. This is a mind trick. It's hocus pocus, conjure magic. By using the blood rights and getting us agreed that no blood of the righteous should be spilled in vain, they write the blood of Crispus Attucus' blood in the new Constitution. Now they got us bound. We don't know what to do now. One of us got to figure out the keys to the magic. So they called me. This show department here. Keys to the magic, the hacker, the voodoo, the hoodoo, all that's your shit. You go over to the Santeria, the Brujeria, right? All that's go over there and see what's going on. All I see is some open conjures that should have been closed years ago that's keeping everybody from their wealth. They closed now. Now we just got to get there going through the awakening process of remembering who the fuck we is.
Right.
Damn.
Damn.
And I speak about that, bro. Like, so many brothers and sisters out here that's speaking so highly and standing on what they standing on, but yet it's like, do you really know who you are? Do you really understand what your purpose is of being here? You know, I told my brother, I say, me personally, I feel like it's a difference from being spiritually woke and being a chosen one. Like, I understand my purpose of being here. I'm pushing that. You know, I feel like it was meant for me to wake up the ones that come from the same trials and tribulations as me. Those who are still in the streets, yes, I'm an ex-gang member and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So
just remember that gang mean tribe. The government classified the 9 treaty tribes as gangs. You got to remember that, and that's a critical point to your development. We ain't call each other gangs. We said clans, tribes, and families. They came over here with some shit called nations and gangs and government agencies. That ain't got nothing to do with us. But we think it do because they look legitimate. All the time, they the illegitimate ones. They don't belong here. They sacked us in warfare. The chiefs have played this conjure war with them long enough to get a chief to focus on the problem and the solution and not just discuss the problem, because we all know what the problem is.
Facts.
The problem is some shit called white supremacy. Where it come from? It's the Morris chess doctrine for government. Came from the caste system. They just use the colors of the pieces in order to confuse the people because everybody don't play chess.
Ooh, that's true. Yeah.
So they told you black and white all the time. A free white person in law is a Moor, and black is the defenders on the chessboard. The white nobility came over here as the attackers. That's why white is the attackers on the chessboard over here, so we won't never forget who attacked who. We ain't attacked nobody. We was at home with our feet up, drinking lemonade in the sun on Big Mama house. All of a sudden, we get the call. All families on deck. We got invaders on the land, and they trying to take over. Everybody didn't sign treaties, but the ones that signed the treaties, they only did that to hold the bear until we can get this motherfucker where we can slit his throat. Somebody had to hold the bear. It's over 5,000 tribes on this land. How 5 tribes gonna rule for the rest of the tribes? Make it make sense. We are different. We got different customs and different practices among the clans. 5 tribes cannot give anybody permission to settle the entirety of this land. It's not going to happen. But what do they do with the ones who don't sign the treaties? They call them outlaws. They call them enemy combatants. They say we belligerent to the Constitution. Bullshit, you stole the Constitution from us and excerpted it from the great law. We know where it come from. Just wrote it in the blood of one chief so that we have to abide by that shit. But the time is up. Our time now. We on some turn around, laugh now, cry later type shit. Now they finna cry. We finna laugh. So we was crying and we was talking about what the hell going on and why we gotta be the ones cooked like hot dogs and hung from trees. Now we know. They was hunting down the chiefs. They told us they was hanging slaves and Negroes, and they was hunting down the chiefs. Right? That's why they killed Emmett Till. Go back and look at the movie. It was some niggas went and got Emmett Till out his mama house, out his people house down there. It wasn't no pale face.
That what ain't that what MJ said? Smooth criminal.
Yep. So we all this time we blaming the lady that they put up to say whistled at her after these Negroes knew he was Chief Littlehorn, heard him whistling Dixie, and knew if he figured out who the fuck he was gonna call the troops to war, and it was gonna be a problem. And we was at the point where he was figuring out who he was by going back home. That's why he was whistling. And he had nothing to do with that lady. That's why she ain't never no time. They knew some dirty people, dirty Moors was behind it the whole time. Scottish Rite Freemasons. Pushing the Crown of England's agenda. To usurp the people of the land and use pale faces as cat's paws. Like we ain't gonna never figure this shit out. Come on, man. Big Mama ain't raised no fools. Papa ain't raised no punks.
You lie on that one. Yeah, it's making sense. It's getting clearer and clearer out here in these skies, for sure.
Long as I can make it people see what they was up against, what they was fighting, it's not what we was told. The enemy they selected for us was the enemy we needed in order to keep us suppressed. Because we didn't never know they looked like us. Because we was in the amnesia from the Tangier War. George Washington challenge. In 200 years, this nigga won't know if he from Europe or from America. Bullshit. I'm Mississippi walking clay dirt, nigga. What is you talking about? I sprung up out this motherfucker like a tree. Through my bloodline. Fuck what they talking about. We know who we be. Just because they don't mean we don't. And we know who they is too.
Yeah. They in the open now.
Bro, what did you think caused like the separation, brother? Like, as far as the gang, you know what I'm saying? And us having like Bloods against the Crips and the BDs.
Those ancient tribes. Look, the Bloods and the Crips is they modern names for two ancient tribes. The symbol is the red crab for the Bloods and the blue crab for the Crips. Right? When Tukey woke up the blue house, it's going to automatically wake up the red house. That means that it's war that has reached the western border of the United States. So now we all woke up ready for war, but they told us we was the enemy. And Tukey didn't get a chance to wake up to the degree to see what he was looking at until he was already imprisoned. Now he's seeing it, but he's powerless to do anything to correct it. Right? He know he woke up two tribes, two of the biggest tribes on the land. The Bloods and the Crips is what they call them now. Brothers looking out on darkness. Brothers looking out on death, depending on which set you coming from. Community revolution in progress. Right? So if the community revolution in progress, of course you got brothers looking out on death. They watching the battlefield. Right? Where did they spring from? The house of the panther, a totem animal of an ancient clan.
Yep. Who was that?
Right? When the conjure got jammed up, they sent Geronimo Pratt, who is D. Jagger, who was the real Geronimo from the historical record. They sent him from Mississippi to go give military strategic information to those Panthers out in the Bay Area or in California. But he was from Mississippi. He an old Mississippian. But he's a battle general. He was sent out there to organize the troops when they was under the Panther House. That's what made him go associate with the Panthers. Right? It's his clan family told him, but he come from under the Black Liberation Front. Right? Coming out of the military, seeing what's being done to fight wars, he became a hell of a strategist. We just didn't know they looked like us and they was infiltrating the Panthers the whole time. Because as soon as we found out the Panthers was infiltrated and they 98% us, that told us something there. Because the ones who didn't look like us was isolated. They could only do so much. They can only get so close to the center. So it had to be somebody that looked like us. Now they got one of them Negroes on the FBI agent. He telling you how they infiltrated the organizations. He's telling you how they did it. So now I could just show you where he at. You can let him tell you out his own mouth how they was infiltrating us, and they look like us, but they ain't us. Right? So then they got something called the FBI's Negro Informant Program. Who was them niggas? We been knew we was at war. We just didn't realize that the people that we was at war with looked like us. This is why they need the slave narrative to uproot us from the land and make us tie ourselves to somewhere we foreign to. That means our delirium is so great that we not competent to govern the land effectively. And Noble Drew Ali said, we're going to leave these motherfuckers in power till we know how to run the government. Their time is up, our time is now. We know how to run this motherfucker from coast to coast, for the most to the most. It's our time, our time. But we got to get more of us aware of what's taking place to make it happen faster. The more of us become aware that we back for every fucking thing they owe, and that all of these chiefs is working together fighting a war that they don't even see going on. And we fighting this motherfucker. They think some 3D everyday thug nigga shit. All the time we on some high priest Bill Chisadek, the great I-10, the known guy being seen wide open in the public type shit. We ain't on no motherfucking thug nigga street 3D shit. You just think we is because that's all you can see. Because that's what the enemy told you to look at.
Damn. Okay. I see that. I see that.
Making it make sense.
Look, the only reason we was at the bottom because we the ones who strong enough to take it. When you go back and watch Mashpee Mama Bear clips on YouTube, you hear her say the blacks. She's talking about the Mississippians when she say the blacks, the defenders on the chessboard. The old conjure men from the Louisiana Delta. The priests of the dark sorcery, the ones who raise up women like Madame Laveau to be priestesses in order to conjure the voodoo of the land in order to fight the enemy on the spiritual front to ensure your victory in the physical realm. They told us that our practice was evil and wicked, and that the only way that we could see any taste of heaven is to follow their practice of believing in a blue-eyed Caesar Borgia. And they called him Jesus to try to usurp ISIS. Like we don't got enough sense to go back to the Greek and see that the word they saying is Jesus ain't no Joshua, that's ISIS. Try to take the great mother from us and think one of her boys ain't gonna get offended. We offended like a motherfucker. They're gonna try to usurp Big Mama and sit the Pope cross-dressing tail up under her seat like he really the vicar of Christ.
Oh.
He about to be a sacrificial goat.
So, bro, my heads about the rainbow projects and shit they got going on in America.
Yeah, that's because the close of the age, somebody has to challenge the gender contract. Yeah. Because Rome believed that the greatest love is between a man and a boy. We don't agree.
Facts.
We think the greatest love between that woman with a natural born organic vagina and that whole man born with a natural born phallus.
Facts. Facts.
Because we think that's the highest expression in nature when you plug the plug in the socket and give it what you got it.
Yeah, that's true.
Even Dr. B and say, I don't know what y'all talking about. Heaven is between the woman, the legs of a black woman. What is you confused? It's written in the hieroglyphics. You did?
Yeah.
So I'm more inclined to believe the ancient writings on the wall than the modern writing of pathological liars who have proved themselves to be such. I didn't prove it. They proved it by their own self. I keep telling lies all the time. As long as they keep lying, I mean they don't have no claim to the truth. So if I just stand in a position to write and tell the truth, they can't win.
Yeah, that's true. Because this world was built on lies the way they built it.
Yeah, and that house of cards is tumbling down. A good gust of wind came through. Cyclone Marcus.
Ooh, okay.
And it woke up old sleeping Garveyite. Laughing at how these motherfuckers mistook the Back to Africa doctrine of Garvey. The real Back to Africa doctrine he was trying to remind you that came out was 100 years before him. He was trying to remind y'all they was trying to separate you from the land. And if you don't talk to them people in Africa, you ain't gonna never know. And they think that means that he wanted us all to get on the ship and go back to Africa. That's the most irrational shit you could accuse Garvey of.
Yeah, that don't even add up. 8.4 billion people on the ship. That ain't gonna.
What? How the fuck they get us over here then?
Right.
Packed like sardines with no running water, no toilets, just a poop deck. How they running bathroom breaks when we all chained to the pillars in the underhull? That's just that gas chamber scenario is too obvious.
Yeah. Man.
And not to mention that Notre Dame University's cathedral is the blueprint for the slave ship. Because it was an academic idea. They wanted to educate you out of your natural born intelligence and knowledge of self. It was an experiment in nurture versus nature. Can we socially condition you to be other than yourself? At the same time, anybody that figure it out tell you what it is marked for death.
Right. So they got us going without for so long, we forgot how
so they got to tell it to us in code. The Chiefs got a special coded language that they speak. You won't know the language until you start waking to your seat, your throne, your chief position. Then you start getting downloads where all of the other chiefs is coaching you on what to research, what to look up. And when you hit a piece of jewel, they can tell you through telepathy. That's it right there. That's what you're looking for. And it'll come across just that clear. And you'll be like, oh shit. Man, I done had some of the strangest shit in the world happen to me. I don't even like to tell people some of that stuff because to the average Joe, it looked like it's fabricated or some form of delusional insanity. Right? But it's like when the French say they was fighting Chief Pontiac and Belle Isle. Some of the reports say the only reason why they lost the bloody run was because these mythical werewolves came up from behind them, and they was about 7 to 8 feet tall and was devouring the soldiers as they tried to retreat from the onslaught of Chief Pontiac army. Those are literally the Wolf Clan, Nazca Wolf Clan, Black Wolf stealth warriors. They big old dudes look like if you ever see the picture easy between the Twin Towers, these two big brothers they used to call the Twin Towers. Imagine them wearing a wolf pelt or a bear pelt coming out from the trees while you trying to fight some regular warfare shit. And then you see these big old brothers coming and they gonna call them phantoms. All the time, the chief know that them the soldiers that came for reinforcements because we at war.
Facts.
When they talk about Skinwalker's Ranch, they try to give a spooky connotation to all of the clans who wore different animal pelts in warfare. So they don't want us investigating why did we wear coyotes and why did we wear bear pelts. These was all stealth in the warfare on the land to blend into the environment so your enemy never get the upper hand. That's why they wanted us on reservations, because they felt they could monitor us better. But all the time the reservation was deployed to switch us out with Mongolians, Huns, and Vedics. They got us thinking that the Indian school was to teach the Indians how to speak English and behave like English gentlemen. That's some bullshit. They already knew that because they came from over there. Now they have to learn the ways and the culture of the natives of this land. And that's why when you look at them, they all Mongolians, little Mongolian babies. It ain't got nothing to do with, like, we gonna adopt them because we gonna use them to get free. Because they was being misused the same as we was. And just because they misused them, we get to use them correctly in order to get us free. They just got ceremonial tribal status. They not the tribe, they ceremonial tribes. They know what the fuck they is. They just got to hold a position and pretend to go along with to get along until we get done coming out the other end. But all the time, I can see what they all doing. See, we went through so much trauma, we was going to be hesitant to pull the trigger on these motherfuckers. Big Mama knew this. So she said the same thing that they use to oppress you, use the exact same thing to break free. Turnabout is fair play. If they used it first, you can use it worse.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So they was blocking us out of all institutions with the brown paper bag test. We need to get into the libraries. We need to get into the courthouses and the state buildings, but all that's too dark. So what we do?
Turn the lights on.
Every motherfucking derelict from Europe, send them over here. You know what we gonna do? Give us your po white trash, and we gonna fill your institutions with po white trash, and they gonna tell us what y'all doing. They not gonna like the dirt that you was doing to them, so they gonna tell them. That's why you got your Jordan Maxwell's and your what's the other dude with the screamy voice? It was a hoax. It was a hoax. It was a bloody hoax. You know what I'm talking about? Alex Jones.
Yeah.
And your William Coopers, right? They all telling you what's going on and that they not supposed to tell you. They telling you flat out in the open, hey, these people over here said don't tell you that you were organic to this land and they came to steal your shit and they want me to keep the secret up. That's why they call them whistleblowers. That's why they call them conspiracy theorists. Because they got to give us all of the dirt that was being done in the dark. They was the ones sitting in to keep the meticulous record so we can prove it but by the same method they used to condemn us away from our land, paperwork. It was a paper chain the whole time.
Facts.
They got us with the appearance of legitimacy, right? That's it's the rule, the understanding of the rule of authority, obedience to authority, where people would do something under the pretext of taking orders that they wouldn't normally do of and on their own accord. I was just following orders, like all of Nazi Germany. Like Hitler was the actual mastermind of that shit.
Mm.
And like the motherfucker they really got you thinking is Hitler was actually Hitler. Right? So they played their games and they came over here with the shenanigans and got bopped upside the head. They won't get bopped no more because they got to go.
Facts. They got to go now, today, after this live.
Yeah, man.
But look, everything don't happen when you want it to happen, because if you understand that they was using stellar events to set events into motion, they're using calendar dates, right? We using the Julian calendar, Gregorian calendar, but there's so many calendars on the planet that got different dates. They'll align something up to any calendar on the planet and make it look random, but it's still aligned up to a calendar event and a stellar event. Right? So they'll tell you that under the Chinese zodiac what something mean, but they don't want you to know what it mean under the Western zodiac. And now when you become versed in two different disciplines of zodiac reading, they can't run the bullshit on you because you can see it. It becomes as obvious as a 3-year-old trying to make a rabbit disappear in the hat and he keep jumping out.
That makes sense.
You can see it now. And everything they doing is on, if you watch, it's all on dates. Dates is based off radio signals, based off birth charts. So they doing dates of certain stuff, key people's birth dates. Then they use historical dates. That's energy harvesting. That's why they want you to have a birthday party, because at a real birthday celebration, people supposed to tell you all of the great things you did over the past year and give you a gift and gratitude of you being a good person. But now they made it where everybody can have a birthday party.
So this is the reason why they made the celebration of us dropping the ball every New Year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it's not just dropping the ball. That's the Big Apple.
Okay.
What Michael Jackson say? If this town is just the apple, then let me take a bite. And then he say, why human nature? To bite the forbidden fruit. The forbidden fruit is usually symbolized with the symbol of an apple, even though nobody ever said it was an apple until some Western theologians just concluded to use the apple as the symbol.
Thanks.
Right? So when they use the apple as the symbol, now we begin to see the apple as a forbidden fruit. So the city that harvests the forbidden fruit, which is the Statue of Liberty, the drag queen, that's the Pope. But it's actually who the Pope worked for. The crest of the lizard bitch head forms into that symbol that's on the Statue of Liberty head. Is chromosomally is female, but physiologically it's male. We call them seahorses. So you see on the crest in the Battle of the Royal Families, the ones with the lion, the land kings, versus the seahorses, the ones who emerged from the dismal abyss, meaning came through the Stargate from a mirrored universe. right? So in SG-1 in Star Trek, they're known as the Wraith, right? They come from deep space. Then you have the ones, the predator-looking beings from Andromeda, which is a matriarchal society, right? And that's why Enki bred the dinosaurs a couple billion years ago for them to have hunting expeditions. University Earth became what a safari for aliens. We done been through every cycle you could possibly think of in this reality. We've played it out over and over again. And to read it on the Akashic records, all you doing is just looking back at other events in order to read what's taking place now, because it's just the energy repeat. The energy is still the same. It just took on a different form of expression in the 3D realm. And by looking back at the old stories, you read them like physics formulas.
Right.
And that's how you get to see what's what. But the forbidden fruit is the drag race of the drag queens racing across the land, pretending to be horses, and all the time they not mares, they stallions.
Mm.
Country boys know what I'm talking about, but them city slickers that get tricked. Go ahead and think a stallion and mare if you want to.
That's crazy. Man.
And you ain't got to be no horse whisperer to figure that one out. People tell you who they is, you just don't believe them because you believe the illusion that's been painted for you with these people playing a role. Shakespeare told them a long time ago the world's a stage and we all just actors. And the only motherfucker Shakespeare's is the indigenous motherfuckers to the land.
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. If you put it like that, yeah. 'Cause the whole industry is full of entertainers, actors. Man.
Look, Smokey Robinson's High High Chief. Quincy Jones, old Mississippian country boy musician. Barry White, old country boy, blues boy from back off in the way. All of them motherfuckers, Bill Cosby, Blue House High Chief. Yeah, do you know why they got rid of Cosby, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He gave, he told Oprah, these niggas ain't living up to their part of the bargain. They supposed to be educating these babies and they ain't doing shit. Soon as he said that, the target was on his head. Now, we don't remember none of the thousands of kids he sent to college damn near every year. He almost single-handedly was the primary fund support to the American Negro College Fund, right? To hand out grants for people that can't afford to go to school. And a lot of us didn't, because we knew it was an academic pursuit. Once we started letting Paleface get into school and seeing that he was climbing the economic bracket with an education.
Mhm.
He don't know more than we know about this land. How the fuck is he getting up the economic ladder? Because they taught him something in there that specialized a function for their system. As soon as you figure out what it is, now you know how to conquer them.
Facts.
Yeah. Y'all remember when Muhammad Karzai was put in power in the Middle East by the Bush family, and Cheney had Halliburton? Halliburton got all of the contracts to rebuild Afghanistan and Iraq. This is what we talk about when we talk about short-term memory, because the same thing that the Bush family was doing is part of something called the Garden Plot. And Rex 84 is a subset of the Garden Plot protocol, right? Operation Evergreen was ran by Hillary Clinton, whose code was Evergreen, which was the smuggling of pubescent children across the ocean using evergreen shipping containers, right? Obama was part of a recovery from Operation Paperclip of genetic information in the DNA vials that was left by the Nazi scientists under Paperclip to clone the pharaohs of Egypt. When they cloned Akhenaten, they made movies that tell you the story and they didn't come out in order. But if you put them in order, the first one would have been one called The Demon Seed, which was the lady being impregnated by artificial intelligence. Then the following would be Rosemary's Baby, when Rosemary gave birth to a son of a jackal. The jackal was the symbol of a scavenger, but they tell you that's Anubis, but Anubis is the Zolo, right? So when you get to the Omen, parts 1 and 2, it's not until you get part 3 that you find out that the whole time that Damien was the son of the jackal. The jackal is the totem animal for Kenya.
Mm.
It's the symbol that represents the totem clan of Kenya. So when you see the jackal in the hieroglyphics, they're telling you somebody came from Kenya that came to deliver a message. When you see Anpu, he's talking about the Zolo god, which was Chief Anpu, which we know him as DMX.
Mm.
The Zolo dog is named after that chief, who was how they say Nez Peru Indian, and he was a very close confidant to the chief known as Tupac Amaru II, conqueror of Peru. So they was fighting in this war too. But we be forgetting and we be thinking that everybody the same. We not all the same. Some of us know who we was in past lives, and we know who we had to round up in order to win this war.
Facts.
You got to use the cover of the society in order to traverse the land and make sure that you can bump shoulders with as many possible chiefs as you can. That's how you get your rank up in order to be able to oust the imposter. You exercise in what they call your blood right to ascend to the throne, and then you have to be what they call pretender to the throne. When you pretender to the throne, that means you got a right to rule on the land, but now you have to round up your support team, right?
Mm.
And when you round up your support team, then they start putting things in order for you to assert your jurisdiction as the de jure ruler on the land under wartime treaty. But not until all of the chiefs start seeing enough to know how to fight the war will we ever come to a consensus of how to win. It got to be enough of us to see it. So you got guys like E40, you got guys like Hobson, like Tech Nine. All these dudes is using the cover of the music industry to meet other chiefs. They get your status up in the background and it shows this musical prosperity without the aid of the industry.
Makes sense.
That's how you know who they is. They all tried to do it their way and the industry stopped them. When you go pulling FBI files, you're going to find all of them, no matter what their skin tone was being extorted by the same 3-letter group.
Mm. Talking about the ish group.
It's JDL. I ain't got no problem saying the bitch's name.
Oh, okay. The Jewish
I just was getting me a drink.
facts. The JDL.
Look, Jewish Defense League use all our symbols
Mm-hmm.
because they owned by people call themselves more Zionist Jews. These is the people Noble Drew Ali sat under to find out what was the war plan against us. These are the ones who hunted him down to his Mufti staff. Somebody gave him up. Anyway, these the same ones infiltrated the nation, the same ones that assassinated Clans 13X, the same ones that call themselves the Black Muslim Mafia and killed half of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar family. They always look like us, but they ain't us.
Mm.
Like the guy that gave the order to bomb the move, he looked like us. That motherfucker ain't one of us.
Facts.
Giant Africa was one of us. He was doing it the way you supposed to do it on the land, under your own vine and fig tree. He was following the protocols of the chiefs from the land from before him. If he can put it into a structure, he got the right as a chief to practice it without the interference of an outside agency, as long as he ain't doing nothing to harm the kids. Because that's the first order of the matriarchy, which is the law of this land. We under matriarchal jurisdiction. So the first law of the land is, how does it affect the children? And the second one is, how does it affect the land? Those are the two main determining factors is if something's going to be allowed. They had a whole different standard. Is it going to poison them, kill them, or make them suffer? If it's going to do any of them, let's implement it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's all they use against us. Look, we had ancestors that smoked till they was 130, 40 years old from the time they was 5 and never caught cancer. All of a sudden, people catching cancer from smoking. What they doing to our tobacco?
Lacing it.
Go back and look at the pesticides, because before pesticides, we didn't catch cancer.
Facts. It's true. It's true.
They had that shit over there where they was using all kind of experimental shit to eat and drinking baby blood and shit. They had all the diseases. We didn't have that over here.
It's true.
That's why our immune system wasn't prepared for the shit they came with. But we got an adaptive immune system. It ain't gonna take us long for our bodies to adjust and find a way to fight it off.
Yeah.
That's why they keep coming with new strains of variants every year of all of these diseases.
Booster shot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yo,
Yeah, you got to keep updating it because we're gonna eventually become immune to it.
Yeah.
So you got to keep updating the what they call mutation rate. You have to accelerate the mutation rate faster than we developed an immunity to the mutant.
Facts.
It's the same with the same way that work in our body, the same way we get the imposters off the land. Sooner or later, we gonna become immune to the imposters on the land, and we gonna see right through the bullshit. Because they don't never change their MO.
Facts. Yeah, because they stick to the script. That's true. Mm-hmm. That's real, though. Man. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, they gave us 3 knocks. They was coming to take over. That was that was what they called the garden plot. It started with the World Trade Center in 91.
Yep.
The Federal Building in 95. In the World Trade Center in 2000.
Yep. That's correct. That's
right. That's 3 knocks.
Yeah, they came through front door. Damn. Ooh-wee. Shit.
We were so busy living through it that we didn't know what they was telling us if we didn't know who Old Man Bush was. Thanks for the William Cooper. He told us in Behold the Pale Horse that he had a Senate Select Committee called at the wee hours of the morning that made him King George I of the United States of America. Right? So now we know who is the highest ranked member of the so-called Illuminati in this hemisphere. Because the Constitution says you can't call yourself royalty. When you call yourself royalty, that's your declaration to take over. Now we can defend ourselves. But you got to give us 3 knocks. However hard you come at us, that's how hard your 3 knocks gotta be. And you see how hard they was. They used massive explosions 3 times. They coming and they coming in hot and heavy.
Facts.
This shit was over in 2000, but we didn't know how to close it out. So they got an extension to 2019. And that's why they start having these certain events take place. See, Obama's job was to usurp the throne of Tutankhamun as his father, Akhenaten.
Mm.
That's who they clone. Boys from Brazil. They got us thinking they was cloning Adolf Hitler the whole time.
Weird.
All the time they cloning Akhenaten because they trying to find somebody that can outrank Tutankhamun, the boy king whose reign was usurped by assassination. Don't that sound familiar?
Yeah. It does.
But everything ain't always what it seems, because if they playing, we got a better one. That's all. Just outmaneuver them. Military strategy 101. Always make them think that you somewhere that you ain't. So that when you show up where you show up, they thought you was somewhere else. We still on? Go and look in the chat.
We still in here. His phone died. He said he's gonna come right back on. So we still in here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what we gonna do from here? We coming up on an hour. We gonna go to Q&A.
Yeah, he got the controls on his end. So I'm waiting on him to come back in and pop. If a couple people got questions, we can answer some questions and stuff like that.
Anything particular you want to go to next?
On a grassroots level, far as us as paternal and maternal guidance for the children right now. Education wise, agriculture wise, I would say transportation wise, what will be the most effective and simplest way to, how you say, be here but not be here, if you get what I'm saying.
Organize into family groups. Try to keep as much stuff in the family and spend your money with a family member if possible. And isolate the ability for them to be able to dominate the way that you use your money. If you keep it in the family, it frustrates their system. Right? Because that's why they talk about the dollar circulating through a community. How many times through the Asian community, the African American community, the Jewish community, and then they show you where the wealth holders are, and it's proportionate to keeping the wealth in the community. But the key to keeping the wealth in the community is always try to do the work at home first before you outsource.
Facts.
Everything that you can do can pay somebody that you really in your circle. You pay them to do it if they're gonna do a good job. The only time you outsource if you don't have a person that's competent to do the job required for, their skill level ain't there
Facts.
for what you need done. Now you have to outsource somebody with more skill, but you still try to stay close as possible to your central circle.
Facts.
And that's how you keep a headlock on the wealth.
Facts.
We got to the point where we were taught systematically to outsource what we call the difficult jobs. Well, those were the jobs that we created, but now we outsourcing them because they classified as difficult or a skilled trade, and we wasn't allowed to participate in skilled trades. Once we
Exactly.
start getting into the skilled trades, see, that's how you use the system of integration, because we had enough of us came through the skilled trades training in the 60s and 70s to allow us to really affect the changes in the socioeconomic barriers. The only thing we didn't have a remedy for was the offset of the inflation taking away the purchasing power from the dollar. That was the thing that, though, no matter how hard you work, you know how wealthy you are, you can't compensate for that loss in that shorter period of time as the inflation has eaten away at the purchasing power. We went from nickel candy bars to the same candy bar half the size is now $2.
True that.
That's inflation. That's all inflation,
True
right?
that.
Because the product at the source is probably still the same, but the inflation from the artificial currency is eating away from the value of the product that is sourced, which is in turn eating away at the cost at the dollar and the value of the dollar at the same time. So you burning the candle on two ends to deplete the people's wealth to keep them into perpetual servitude. This is what we're trying to fight against.
As far as the far as the education system when it comes to financial literacy and supreme mathematics and stuff like that, um, you know, would those ancient practices be brought back to the curriculum eventually, or for right now?
First, we got to get rid of the slave trading industry that they call the school system. That's
Okay.
for training slaves. It has nothing to do with teaching people how to use their minds and be operate from a higher intelligence. It's teaching everybody to operate from their lowest capacity in order to barely get by, which gives the sensation of a perpetual struggle.
Mm, that makes sense.
Right. So we got to get rid of that old system. But people still depending on the old system to be their babysitter, and they break from the kids for the day or whatever the complaint is because the sister groups aren't intact.
Mm,
Sister groups is how we used to educate. We would get the sisters that teach,
yeah.
specialize in teaching children, and they would get the children for so many hours out the day and however many they can handle. And they would also be training other women to teach the children and interact like them. Like if you Google the other Bush family, it's a sister who all three of her daughters was graduated from university by the time they was like 13 or something.
Hmm.
She would be leading the group. She probably have like 5, 6 assistants, and they would probably be hands on with probably 15 kids. And she would be teaching her assistants how she taught her children so that it can be duplicated, because she already showed us a repeatable pattern by having 3 children do it. It passes the litmus test for competency.
Mm.
But stuff like that will be used. Um, we got to have an educational advisory committee, um, which one of the Hares passed away, but one of them still here. It was Nathan and Julia Hare. Naim Akbar, uh, Haki Matabuti. They all are into the educational aspect of our specific needs. But we got to also take into the consideration that we've been culturally sanitized to the point where a lot of what we think is a errant behavior is a cultural expression. You can stomp the culture out the child.
Mm. Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. We got one question in the comments. I could read it from the comments, but I won't be able to tag it and pin it. I'll read it out to you. It's from Ariana Robinson. She
Mm-hmm.
said, he says, "How do we start up our mother's home teaching circles like we used to?" Question. A lot of people are still dependent on the schools and don't trust the other women with their kids just yet.
Yeah, that's those sisters healing groups that has to first heal the women so that they'll know that they can work together. The reason that system was broke up through something called a mirror conjure that was designed to break the sisterhood up, and it was a crossroads conjure, and that's also been closed. So a lot of sisters who used to think that they couldn't stand women didn't know that they was the prime targets to the spell to keep the Sibyls shattered.
No, that absolutely makes sense. Me and the brother was just talking about that. We actually did a live with one of the sisters from Chirac, and she was talking about the sisters coming together, holding hands once again, and loving on each other like they used to. Um,
Look,
community.
when I was a little boy in the early '70s in Chicago, the
Mhm.
women used to get together and they would all pool in a little bit of food they had to feed the majority of the kids. Because back then, you didn't have enough food to make it to the month. You get to the end of the month, they call it scraping and scrapping. They be in the kitchen scraping and scrapping up something to eat. So these sisters, they used to be different women in the building and down the street, all come together. They come in like it's a potluck. You like, we don't know no better as a child. We don't know that these women struggling trying to feed us. We just thinking we having a good old time with our friends and my mama and them with their friends and our uncles and them that came through over there drinking, talking loud, playing cards. We thinking it's a kind of party. We don't know we doing survival of the fittest, pooling resources in order to feed the most children. We be forgetting about the children because we all think it's our time. Shit. We didn't had our time. By the time you get 30, if you ain't did nothing significant, you probably not gonna do it. So then you start making ways to try to teach the next generation to do something great. If you can influence one to do something great, that makes you greater than you was.
Yeah, that is true. I always tell that to my star seed. I say, man, don't follow me. Be better than me. Go beyond Earth. Go to the stars, man. You know what I mean?
Hmm. The best thing to teach him is that um, if he can put in his mind the kind of life he wants, he'll vibrate on the frequency to make that life happen.
Facts. He's very interested in the ancient animals, the dragons, which he called dinosaurs now. Like he loves these dinosaurs, man. And we talk
Well, you
about
know the word dragon is older than the word dinosaur.
that's very true.
So what was they calling dinosaurs before the word dinosaur? So your son might have a memory of a time the word dinosaur didn't exist.
So yeah,
No,
he's
we was calling these dragons, Dad. What did you talk about? This ain't no dinosaur.
my son. Like when I look in the holy tablets, his my son looks like Ptah. Like the whole is just like you could see the whole resemblance of Ptah in his face. But yeah,
He's the he's the god of the sign and the pygmies, the Twa people. That Ty is his Egyptian name, but they call him Father Twa in the old tribes, the great father of the tribes. He was short, but he was one of the smartest beings to ever walk in this realm.
mm,
And he wore his godhood to a high standard. That's why he's depicted in the hieroglyphs.
powerful. That's powerful.
And by the sign and the Twa being the oldest genetic stock of hominid on the planet, human, That's why they say he is the one who, or the potter that made man. He's the genetic blueprint for the Y chromosome.
Damn. Wow, that's deep.
Women had to pick somebody to be the blueprint,
That is true.
and he was of great noble quality. That's why the Oscar looked like him.
Oh wow.
Oscar's named after one of the chiefs too.
Whoa, I didn't even realize that.
Look, none of that shit didn't have nothing to do with us. The Grammys, the Oscars, the Emmys, the Tonys, and whatever else, Sarah, whoever else got an award. All that was to see if the new editions had assimilated their one drop of blood because they didn't have any artistic capability without it.
Mm,
If they was able to win an award, that means they had totally assimilated a drop of blood. It had nothing to do with us. But
fact,
since we didn't know it, shit, we felt like we was being discriminated against.
fact,
They was just taking advantage of our sleep to have a chance to rule something.
fact. Now, far as travel for us right now, because I know we still dealing with fossil fuel and stuff like that. Eventually, will we return back to hydropowered vehicles, electromagnetic and stuff like that?
Look, all that stuff we got. So Trump announced his 250-year celebration, the year-long Mardi Gras across the land, and he also announced the World Fair. The this World Fair is significant because it's going to be the unveiling of technology that the military had kept from us for the last, ever since they've been the military, keeping technology in secret. Some of the stuff that they recovered from Antarctica, like the healing chamber, they had to reverse engineer that motherfucker, and they couldn't believe what the engineering feat that it was, but it causes your genetics to repair.
Mm,
It can even grow a new limb if your limb is amputated. It can rejuvenate broken spinal columns and all kind of stuff. Anyway, this machine was in Antarctica, and I knew they was gonna recover it. So I posted it on my page a couple months ago.
mm,
But it's a healing. They call it the healing capsule. I call it the healing chamber because that's what we used to call it years ago. And some people used to call it a sarcophagi.
mm,
But it got it was originally made with crystals,
mm,
and you had to have certain instruments that the priests used to activate the crystals to repair the DNA. Then the scientists in the old Atlantis took all of the technology and the sensors and stuff they had and reverse engineered it where they can duplicate it, where you don't need a person to play the instrument to activate the crystals. They can use the frequency of the crystals and the programs that the crystals had in them to correct the DNA. And then they was able to turn the machine on and tell it what to heal.
mm.
But if you ask any biologist to tell you that the human body is designed not to fail, ever. It's designed to be what they call a perpetual system. But something happens where it begins to break down somewhere around the age of 40, right? Women go into menopause, men go into menopause. Some of them start acting like bitches. And the telomeres are now receding. The recession of the telomeres gives the symptoms that we call aging. And so we discovered that ancient telomeres in the Atlanteans they recovered that was flash froze in Antarctica, that they were almost completely covered, the telomeres, of the old Atlanteans that lived up to 1,500 years or longer of Earth years. So that's how they discovered that our telomeres had been tampered with, because ours is not what theirs was, and then it's never supposed to deteriorate on its own. So somebody did something in the laboratory that causes the telomeres to break down, and that comes across as aging. So when you read what Enlil told his son to do, make it where they can't live over 120 years, it makes sense.
Mm. Yeah. So they put something inside everything that we consume as energy in order to destabilize the what we call uh God DNA from um living for it living through its true extent.
Right.
That makes sense.
So we ain't even supposed to really hit puberty till we close to 30 if we planning on being anyways near 1,000 years old.
Mm. Oh, that's why they say 30 is the prime. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, now oppression and the rapid culling of a people causes the children to start reaching puberty at younger ages to produce the soldiers required to fight the war. It's a law of nature.
Mm.
The more they try to kill, we baby kids, we don't die, we multiply. The more we come back. They didn't plan for that. They thought that they can annihilate us and that'd be it. They didn't plan that their oppression would cause us to proliferate at a younger ages for longer periods of time. So now they got to convince us to stop having 8 and 10 babies in the family and cut it down to 1 or 2, niggas.
Shit. Man.
Look, almost all our grandparents came from a house with at least 12 to 15 kids, if you my age. Now, kids is being born grandmama lucky if she has siblings 2 or 3.
Yeah, very
The,
true.
the, the side effect of growing up in a big family is you learn how to live with other people with different types of personalities before you go out into the world. You already built in and hardwired how to deal and carry yourself around other people that's not in from the mentality you from, because all your siblings ain't gonna think like you. They
Very true.
all have different personalities, and you're gonna have to learn how to communicate with them.
Facts. I always say
And
homework first, man.
yeah, but that's where all of the training started at. That's why we used Big Mama House was the biggest university on the land. Everywhere you had every plantation house was a Big Mama house that was converted into a prisoner of war camp. That's why they stopped calling it Big Mama House. We kept calling it the Big House. They didn't call it that. In their terms, everyone they won, they made sure that it was painted white, because that's what they called a Casablanca. I remember
Yep.
Casablanca mean White House.
True.
See, so all of these little games they was playing was showing they advancing across the land. But then our elders, being stubborn as they is in certain parts of the culture, you can't purge from them.
Mhm.
You can't get it out of them. And that's why it's more important to know your culture than your genetic chart, because you'll know where you fit in. They doctored a lot of genetic charts.
Facts.
Henry Louis Gates said they was making that DNA shit up as they go along anyway. That's why he changed Oprah to a Zulu. because she lied and told them people she was Zulu. And he knew she was lying, so he went. His man was in the lab. He said, "You making it up as you go anyway. Why don't you just go and make a Zulu?" So they made her Zulu.
Oh yeah, Ancestry.com, the little scamming thing they had going.
21 and me or some shit.
Yeah.
Look, it's real simple. When we get to critical mass of awareness, this shit gonna take on a life of its own. Right now, we out here. It's enough hostile takeover of social media. Every one of us who know who we are, just telling it in the public domain, that's slowly closing down and restricting the serpent around their throat that they can't fight. Because every one of us that's acknowledging who we is taking away their power to deny the fact that we know who the fuck we are. And if we know who we are, we back for everything they fucking know. And they owe us a whole lot of shit.
That is true. That is true. Shit, I'm ready for it. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to each one reach one as much as I can for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's the purpose of y'all doing this. That's why I say it's good for us to see the young chiefs out here spreading the word.
Mm-hmm.
Dane Calloway is just hey, look, that's my MVP right there.
I second that, man. I'll be tapped in too, man.
Dr. Umar, sad case for a Negro.
Right. I can't wait to see that one. That episode. He give
Look,
him that smoke.
Dr. Umar say he don't want no smoke with Dane Calloway.
Oh, he gonna get it. He gonna get it. Ain't no running from that.
He already got put on blast. We know what's up. Look, he talking about he descending Nat Turner and Frederick Douglass, but he's a foundational African. That's what he said, eh? Well, why both of them niggas' paperwork say they Native Americans?
Exactly.
You know, so he telling you that he don't really read the history of these people he claiming, because then he would know his people was already here.
Goddamn right about that.
So that's gonna tell us two things. Either he's a befuddling idiot, which I'm gonna put my vote on that part, or he is a flat out undercover agent pretending to be one of us and he ain't.
That second one.
I just think he's a befuddling idiot. I think he has misinterpreted, or he took sides, I should say. If you go back, you hear me in a lot of my videos. I be like, don't take sides.
Mm-hmm.
Just examine the receipt and see what it say.
Mm-hmm.
Right? As soon as you take sides, that's how you get stuck. And sometimes when you in the fight for righteousness, you get stuck to the right. That means being overly righteous in the cause.
Mm-hmm.
It don't mean that you definitely right. You just got a little bit of information, enough for you to stand so firm on your conviction that you don't even want to hear nothing that nobody else got to say. You stuck to the right. You overly righteous in your cause. When you don't take sides, you make room to be adaptable to change when new information emerges. Right? Like when I started this, I ain't know they froze Big Tookie. But along the way, when they was flipping me the codes, and I was like, "Oh shit, they froze Big Tookie. They didn't execute him. They sent him to Area 51. Holy shit, Arnold Schwarzenegger signed the order."
Is that why
Right?
is that why they use Arnold Schwarzenegger in that Batman movie? As Mr.
Yeah,
Freeze?
Mr. Freeze. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So it's a Hollywood flip. Boys in the Hood. Right. NWA.
Mm-hmm.
Niggas with attitude. Black Rage, no,
Mm.
Blue Rage, Black Redemption. A
Mm.
literary work. Soul on Ice, Eldridge Cleaver. To a Man on Fire, Eldridge Cleaver. Right?
Mm.
So he telling me something. And it's a gorilla knock off of George Jackson, the Soledad brother, because there's blood in my eye. That's what his mama said. That means something to the Chiefs.
Mm.
That's a big mama call for the Chiefs war. She want war for Big George. I get the gorilla knocked off of Fatherland. My father, Big Dude. Quincy Jones put out the album called Dude with the monkey playing the saxophone on the cover, on the gorilla knock off the Blue House. Right? So then in comes the Vanilla Gorilla. He walked up to the table and asked for a seat at the table. I don't need you right now, but I challenge you to a pose down. If I win, you playing for my team now. You with me. You a swarthy nigga anyway. Schwarzenegger.
Oh shit, man.
So he Tookie gave him the green light,
Mm.
which gave him the right to do business under the tribal order and not under the order of the Constitution.
Mm.
So now he working for Big Tookie and don't nobody know it. He's the vanilla gorilla. Go back to The Rock in the movie when he was being followed by the big vanilla gorilla. The Rock is the symbol of the Black Rock.
Oh, Rampage.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
Man.
the, Rampage came off of Scarface knock, off of
Mm.
Ghetto Boys track. I'm on a rampage, forced to look at darkness, broader being heartless, and with the gauges hot, guard this. Quietly, I sit, riding hitch like a lunatic, waiting on a trick to start some shit so I can hear the Scarface,
Yeah.
right? So that's a Tony Montana knock. That's Florida. Florida, the finish line. That's the Gullah Wars,
Word. Okay. Damn.
right? So when the Rock come in, the Rock is the Black Rock. That's the Peace Stone. That's the Brahma Bull. Remember, the Rock's character in wrestling was the Brahma Bull. That's Keystone Nation. That's Angel Bay,
Mm.
right? So the knock come in off the big bull, Angel Bay, which is the Keystone Nation, right? And that's the Black Stone knock off of the Crip Flip. Right now, the GD catch the knock off of Gorilla Grodd, Telepathic Gorilla on the Wind Talker channel,
Mm.
right? So Gorilla got Grodd is GD Ride.
Mm.
And
That's why they got so many Flash series, huh? The anime Flash series with Gorilla Grodd.
right.
Okay. I'm following. Okay.
So these are codes that's coming out of Hollywood, right? Because they gotta tell you exactly what they doing, but they don't have to make it plain. They can put it in code.
True that.
So the QAnon said that reading the symbols is gonna be their undoing.
Mm. Okay.
So as we go through the symbols,
Yeah.
right, then we get the knocks in order to see who's knocking, what they knocking about, and where they knocking us to. So the Oracle came in and gave me the download that allowed me to flip to see that it was Big Tookie knocking for me on a zigzag flip across the land. All gorillas knocking, got the whole land rocking. Right. So when the gorillas step in front of the soldiers, they all disappear because the little guys got to get behind the big guys. So you can't never tell the whole strength of the force. So
Facts.
you move the big guys up for the heavy lifting.
Facts.
So we came in and lifted some heavy shit.
Yeah, that's a powerhouse right there. Mm.
Remember, Big Shug said Easy went down to a lethal injection, right?
Mhm.
In the lethal injection was an Ice Cube album that gave a death certificate as another album, right? These is called LPs. The LPs flips 7-6. That's a revolutionary spirit. Spirit of 76. So on the LPs, the Gorillas is flipping off the blue house with the red house backing. I told you when he woke up one, he woke up two.
Facts.
Yeah. It's a whole lot more. I can't give you everything in one sitting. I wish I could. I could just sit here and just say it all one time. Boom, then it is. Oh, I'll be here where y'all see everything I'm looking at.
Facts.
Sometime I be wanting to be in front of a dry erase board. Sometime I be wanting a computer screen just to show what I be talking about. Because when you see it, you can't unsee it. It might not click today, but one day you'll be walking down the street and it'll click. Boom, everything will fall in place for you. We all set different times for us to wake up.
Facts.
And we all wake up at different times because we got different roles to fill.
Shit, call me Adam Sandler, the one who actually played in Click.
The water boy.
Right, right.
The water boy is a mama's boy off the blue house.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, all that stuff coded. The Quentin Tarantino movies, all that shit coded.
Man, it's like hieroglyphs in the modern day. That shit crazy.
It is. That's why you learn once you learn to read hieroglyphics, the hieroglyphics is just a reenactment of every scenario you're gonna see in life. And they tell a story. When you know the hieroglyphic rendition, then when you're looking at people walking down the street, cars going by, everything just click.
Yeah, it do that now.
Cars, yeah, the cars is the chariots.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? The people with the pedestrians back then.
yeah,
The road is the dusty old trail, whatever you want to see.
yeah. Yo, that's crazy, man. Yeah,
Like this is cyclic. You got to do something for eternity to entertain ourselves. This chapter was called Misery because we didn't know what that shit was. Now we
man,
understand it so good we don't want it no more.
you ain't lied on that one. You ain't lied on that one. Man, I came across a lot of narcissistic people, man. I ain't even gonna lie. Sometimes I feel like they ain't got no heart at all.
Ask yourself this. You writing a movie, what role would you have a narcissist playing?
Mm. Ooh. Oh man. Uh. Shit. Oh, that's a good question.
Because if you know what role you have the narcissist playing, you'll know what role the narcissist is playing. You got to decide. You the director.
Right.
They
Right.
all got a purpose. The narcissist, the sociopath, the psychopath, the
Facts.
idiopath, they all got a purpose,
Facts. Facts.
right? But you got to ascribe the purpose. Why do we got schizophrenics? I know why. From my paradigm, they look like untrained psychics.
Mm.
They don't understand what's going on, so they panic. It makes them suffer from an acute paranoia.
Mm.
This is why they used to send the priests in the caves when they're about to go through the dark night. So when they start waking up and they having all this psychic influence, it won't be cluttered by the village around them. Sacred clowns, Iokas. Old men in the forest, the man in the grass hut.
That makes sense. I was thinking of if I was a director, it would probably be I don't know if you've seen the new documentary, the Joker movie, the last one they just made.
I haven't seen it. But go ahead with your description because I might be able to catch on anyway.
This one was more like he had a disability where he was laughing too much. He couldn't stop laughing, like outbursts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was literally a clown. Like literally, that was his MO. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He was taking care of his moms. His moms was sick. She was on pills, and she used to work for Bruce Wayne, the rich and wealthy. You know what I'm saying? The one masquerading around as a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
And the job he was working for, I think they let him go because I think he was being bullied on the job by other clowns, literally. And they let him go because he was the worst clown at being a clown. And right. So yeah, he ended up spazzing out, like due to firing him. He couldn't pay for his mom's medical bills anymore. She ended up dying. So it was just him by himself now, and people were making fun of him. I think people on the train ride. I'm just trying to give you like a quick look. I want you to see it yourself. I don't want to tell the whole thing, but yeah, they bullied him on the train. They shot at him. He went to Bruce Wayne and Bruce Wayne Manor's mansion to try to get help from Bruce Wayne since his mom worked there and got sick there and retired there. And
this the Joker, right?
Yeah, Joker. This is the grimy version. Like this is the gray one. This ain't like the DC world one. This is like the, you know what I'm saying? It's like we can relate to this one. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like he ended up going on I forgot what show, Jimmy Fallon show or something like that. It was like a Jimmy Fallon, it's like a reality show where they bring on, real world problems and people and stuff like that. So he went on there with the nice cream, the velvet suit on, and the clown paint on his face and the red nose. He went on there and he was quiet as a mouse, man. And they asked him, they said, why did you, they asked him, they said, he said, why are you on the show today? He said, in his little screechy voice, he said, well, Jimmy Fallon, I just want to let you know that I'm your biggest fan, and I want to say fuck you and your show. And then he shot that motherfucker in his head, like on camera, like blood cold. And then he went on the camera itself and told everybody that I'm not insane. You got to understand where I'm coming from. This world is insane, and I'm the only one that's not insane. You see what I'm saying?
Now think about that paradigm for a minute. If the whole world was insane, the sane motherfucker gonna look crazy to everybody else.
Exactly.
So now remember we was talking about the untrained psychic and diagnosis of schizophrenia. One of the diagnostic aspects is what they call multiple personality disorder. Then Carl Jung introduced us to a part of psychology called archetypes. So when you use Jungian perspective to see schizophrenics, you'll find that each one of the personalities is an archetype that carries out a function that the prime or the core ego self don't want to fulfill. So instead of building one ego, the individual higher self start creating egos as stress relievers. Batman and the whole Batman story is based on the Mesoamerican Bat God,
Mm.
right? And Arkham Asylum he's actually in Arkham Asylum, and everything that they telling in the story of Batman is his hallucinations, and all of those villains are archetypes of his alter egos.
Oh, is that why the Joker used to say that I am you?
So now you're starting to see it.
Damn, that's crazy.
Now go back to what you just said. The Joker told them that he ain't crazy.
Mm.
The whole world crazy.
Yeah, damn, that makes sense. Damn. Wow.
They be telling us the whole time. See, we so busy being entertained that you can slide a little truth bomb in entertainment. Cicely Tyson was notorious for it.
Mm.
She's the Iroquois high priestess. So any chance she get to tell us who he is, she gonna do it.
Mm.
Always been that way. Who
Fact.
one of them boys to the side come here? You know, Little Richard name was Chief Screaming Hawk.
Mm.
All of the Jackson brothers was chiefs.
Jackson 5. That's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See, all these things is critical to understand in reading the culture versus reading the literature.
Mm-hmm.
The literature is primarily steered by the people that want us to think a certain dynamic. But the culture will express itself no matter what the literature tell us is being done. So you start reading the culture and you start seeing real recognized real. And there's a whole bunch of motherfucking familiar faces around here. Where the fuck I know these motherfuckers from? Then it start making sense. You remember them from past lives, from negotiations with the enemy, from being on the battlefield, riding across the country trying to get to the Gullah Wars. That's what we was doing. That's why we was all so concentrated in the Southeast. And that's why Lewis and Clark was able to say that there was no royalty on the land, because the chiefs don't go to war unless they leading their troops. They don't send their troops in front of them. That's a European concept. That's not how we fought war over here. The chief gonna be the first one to issue the first blow in the war, because he gonna fuck the other chief up that ain't acting right.
Mm.
And if anybody from his side move and act like they want to jump, everybody know what they're supposed to do next. And nobody got to ask them. We all know what to do next.
Facts.
Chief chop this bitch upside the head, leave him laying at his feet. Anybody move, you know what we got to do. And we don't even have to discuss it. We already know. That's why everybody went and tried to cover the part of the battlefield where they could see themselves most effective, right? And one of the most effective was Elijah Muhammad, because he didn't only just raise himself, him and Claire, they also raised the nation, literally, within a nation, under their own vine and fig tree. So we forget that's the rule of the land. You can come over here and set up anything, but as long as you stay out of other folks' business, they stay out of your business, do you. As long as you ain't hurting the kids, and as long as it ain't hurting the earth, you're supposed to be free to. But when you start bothering them two things, now the other clans are gonna get involved.
Real spit.
The matriarchs gonna spill it. They gonna call the matriarchs from other clans, come get these babies out of here. Next thing you know, all these women sitting around with attitudes and ain't no babies in the house, and this stupid motherfucker ain't got enough sense to realize he done fucked up. Because now some really, really good men got to do some really, really bad shit to some really, really bad people.
Shit, that shit equal out to me. Shit. You send the brothers to clean them up, they gonna get cleaned up.
Mm-hmm. It's all tribal.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. The whole hip hop culture is tribal.
Yep.
The whole blues culture is tribal. Rock and roll culture is tribal. Country, bluegrass, that's tribal. But we adopted other tribes and we gave them their own shit. And they just got to make it their own.
That's right.
That's why everybody know that the bluegrass and country music came from the blues. But instead of giving them a guitar, we gave them a banjo and a fiddle.
Facts.
The Moors already taught them how to play violins when they had brought them over here. They knew how to play violin. So they turned into a fiddle. They stopped violin and then started fiddling.
Facts.
Our culture's still here. You can watch some Mardi Gras Indians. If you don't know that them your people, then you don't belong over here. You gotta find your people. They taking over in Africa. So all these unapologetically African motherfuckers better go help them if they want a piece of the pie. Don't just sit over here and talk about you African and let the Africans struggle over there in Africa by themselves.
You know what I'm saying?
That's not. And then when they get on, you think you're gonna go over there with your hand out. They gonna chop that motherfucker off.
For real.
They done with the shenanigans. All you gotta do is watch them. They systematic. The young generals, these dudes ain't in their 40s. They in their 30s.
Mm-hmm.
They coming with a whole new strategy of military, a whole new understanding of government and politics. They tired of being exploited, tired of growing up in the country generation into generation of exploitation by colonization. They done with that shit over there. So I recommend all of the Africans over here that want to get any of the residuals go over there and help the Africans finish getting African shit while us red-blooded motherfucking Mississippi clay dirt walking motherfuckers get this shit back.
Facts. Facts.
Shit, they doing it in China. They doing it in India, but y'all don't see it because they don't tell it to you on the evening news. You think it ain't happening.
Facts.
All you gotta do is pay attention. The Maori clans, what they call them, the South Pacific, Tonga, Samoa, New Zealand, all up in there, and new islands that was exploited and overrun with colonization. They done with that shit. They big mamas have said enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
And down there, when Big Mama talk, you can't tell nobody nothing. They just gonna move your ass. And who gonna run up on the Booyah tribe talking about and you gonna have to move.
All I hear is over with. Arrows gonna go.
Yeah. I hear on the Wind Talker channel, Chapo and Larry Hoover really getting close. El Chapo wife come with 6-point star on her neck to court. That was the coldest sign I ever seen.
Facts.
I just didn't know that Larry spoke Spanish. That shit fucking me up. I knew Malachi spoke Spanish. I didn't know Larry spoke Spanish. Caught me off guard, but he broke it all down for him. You can imagine this, man. You know you're supposed to be feeding a massive amount of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that you see available is some shit that's going to also destroy massive amounts of people. But you got two options. Feed the ones you're responsible for and don't give a fuck about the other one. Or worry about the other ones and let the ones you're responsible for suffer. What do you do? This was the position they put every chief in on the land. You can either feed your clan and let the other chiefs feed their clan till we figure it out, or don't nobody eat. So you see greedy chiefs like Don King stealing the wealth from the youth, the young fighters coming up, putting their life on the line in that combat sport and to entertain the millionaires and billionaires of the world as well as the peasantry. Give them an emotional outlet for the unreleased testosterone build up to see the combat in action, to get a young warrior something to aspire to, and you stealing their wealth so that when they retire, now they ain't got shit.
Damn.
All that's because they can't share the wealth.
Shit.
They get caught sharing the wealth, they get put to death. That's why Bill Cosby wasn't directly helping people. He indirectly helped them. He give them an education. Best thing he could do for them in the circumstances.
Very true.
Because now they can't say he was handing out the wealth. He wasn't making nobody wealthy, but he was giving them the means to get it themselves.
Nah, that makes
That's the
sense.
smartest contribution to the community you can make.
Cause me and bro kept we kept for a second we were becoming maze runners, thinking about like, all the brothers that that are wealthy out here, and I'm just like, we like, man, why they not putting on the rest, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why we not, you know what I'm saying?
That's
And like,
what made them. That's what make those people call these, like Michael Jackson. Get his. If you get his FBI file, Jewish Defense League was extorting him or attempting to extort him. If you get this, they the ones who created the sex case.
mm,
They did all that shit trying to destroy him and hang him in effigy, kill his image. Right? They was also in Tupac FBI file, Easy FBI file. Biggie reenacted the skit at the beginning of his song when he was like, "Gonna kill you, kill you." Yeah, you soft, dude. You soft. Right? Tupac came flat out and he said, when I was doing all my riding, couldn't nobody told me somebody looked like me would shoot me. Then he put it in the song. He said, they say it's a white man I should fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing here.
oh
Right?
yeah,
He telling her. ODB say, it's a shame on a nigga, this Chief Crazy Horse, trying to run game on a nigga. So he said, hold up, stop. Let me tell y'all who these niggas I'm talking about. He said, I'm talking about them niggas that look like us, that's trying to run game on people that look like me and you, and he pointed to some pale faces, and make us think that we the enemy, and all the time these niggas is the enemy.
mm.
Shinnecock cheap. He want his shit back.
Just like Malcolm X. Oh, he said they look like it. Man, that's crazy. Man,
Goddamn white man ain't fucking white. He look like us, but he ain't us.
man. Icing on the cake right there. I mean, if you can't see it, man, man.
Yeah. You know, the easiest way to break a spell is to tell somebody what it is and how it works.
Yeah, that's true.
But once you know what it is and how it works, it can't work on you because you will see it working and adjust to overcome.
Facts. That's
And if
true.
you don't see it, your higher self seeing it because the higher self remember how it worked. So as soon as you become made aware of it, where your attention go, your energy flow. Your higher self gonna say, "Hey, here come that bullshit."
Yeah, that's true. Hey, brother Rod, man, we're gonna close it out tonight, brother. This was definitely an amazing episode with you. Um, I'm
Appreciate y'all brothers powwowing with me, chief, and with the chief one time.
you know it. There's gonna be many more, man. We're gonna reach out to you later down the line and add on like we never left the building. But
For sure, for sure.
Yes, it was an honor. I appreciate your time, your energy, your spirit. Your consciousness, and so much more. Much love to you and yours. Y'all hit that like, subscribe, and turn on the post notification so we can get this message out here to the people that need to get to. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother Jeezy, Chef Jeezy, cooking up these facts too out there, man. Where you at in the VA? I'm out here in Atlantis. It's your bro Zero. Um, Anything you want to say before we peel out of here? Rod Hayes, Chief Rod Hayes.
Yeah, I just appreciate y'all brothers power and politicking with me for a minute, letting the people know what's going on. Uh, it's been good, good vibes.
You know it. But with that being
I
said, y'all,
definitely
we are
appreciate
out
you,
of here,
brother
man.
Rocky.
Well out here.
You know, I've been looking forward to this, and bro, I wasn't expecting it to be this soon. I wasn't. You feel me? But
Me either.
it happened. Bro. I definitely appreciate you, brother. You know,
For sure, man. One love.
You know it.
to the next time. That was the powwow with our special guest, brother Rod Hayes, Chief Rod Hayes in the building. What? They said
You
who
hear,
couldn't do it, Zero? They say who couldn't do it? They say who couldn't do it?
you hear me? That's Mississippi.
Huh?
Red
Mm-hmm.
skin, clay
Mm-hmm.
walking, chief smoking, Pontiac in the motherfucking building. You hear me?
Uh-huh.
You hear
This
me?
only the beginning. This only the
Telling you.
beginning.
Telling
Hey,
you, yeah.
we
We
looking
back on we
forward,
back
y'all.
we back
Next,
on
next, we working on Dane Calloway and we working on Chief Warhorse. You hear me?
Oh yeah.
Huh?
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
We
We're gonna
tapped
bring it.
in, man.
We're
We
gonna we gonna
tapped
we
in,
gonna
man.
we
I
we gonna
appreciate
we
everybody that pulled up, and showed the love. Much appreciated. If you share, like, and all of that, I love you all wholeheartedly. You hear me? This is only the beginning. You hear me? I can't make this shit up. We can't make this shit up. This is truths beyond truths. Facts beyond facts. You hear me? We just here to make it make sense, man. Make sure y'all tap in tomorrow with me and my brother Zero. Make sure y'all tap in Wednesday for Making It Make Sense slash OG Talk. Come on now. We bringing God's energy to this universe, man.
got to.
Appreciate you, brother. I
We did
appreciate you. Much love, man.
we definitely out here setting the record straight for sure. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people that don't know how to drive these days. A little car crashing going on, little, car damage, you know what I'm saying? A little drunky shit going on. Gotta get the folks right, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
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 But nah,
Yeah,
it's
I
much.
had to keep tapping in and tapping out. I want to apologize to everybody for that too. My phone had died 3 times. Then it was the background and all of that. And I ain't want to mess the show up, so. And the brother was speaking that truth. You hear me? The
Facts.
platform was for him. I was just here to receive the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really had too many questions to ask. I already knew the brother was gonna come with what he was coming with. You know what I'm saying? So
You know
sit back and take notes. What rapper said that? Sit back and take notes.
it.
You hear me, bro?
No,
Yes. But
man, they call us. Hey, man, they call us outcasts, and I ain't talking about Andre and Bit Boy.
mm, mm, come on now.
But yeah, much
Please.
love to everybody who came in the chat. Much love to you, Ariana Robinson. Appreciate the great
Oh,
questions
my apologies, goddess. I apologize from me to you. I apologize. Shout out to the goddess.
for
Love is
sure.
love.
Shout out to the only love. Shout out to the sister Body by Mudra. Y'all go check out her skincare products, all organic. Shout out to it's a gym thing. Appreciate the pop in. Hey man, much love to everybody that came in this joint, man, to come hear this powerful powwow, man. You hear me? It's gonna be more to come. I'm telling you. If you ain't already here, share the message. Go ahead, hit that share button, hit that like button, turn on them post notifications, man, because we will be back like we never left.
It's only gonna get better. It's only gonna get better. This is I Can't Make This Shit Up radio, you know. Tonight's powwow featuring Broad Hayes, Chief Pontiac in the building, like stored and chilled. You heard me. We out though, man. I want everybody to stay blessed, stay highly favored, love those who love you, respect all, except the love that is given. You hear me?
That's
We
right.
out.
All right.